Good morning. I'm Luke Smetters from Premier Marketing, and I am here today to show you a valuable resource that we have access to thanks to a partnership between Premier Marketing and Ancestry and National Guardian Life. They came together and created this about 2 years ago or so, and they're continually refining it and making it better and improving it. But the reason why this is particularly meaningful and significant is due to the environment and the realities that we're facing today, where it's harder to get together and it's harder to have larger funerals. It's harder to have groups of people gathering in some places. I know across the country we all have different regulations and different restrictions and different levels of comfort and risk that we're willing to take. But that being said, this resource, I think, enables us to create a space where folks truly can get together and try to, even in a digital way, of course, but get together and honor and remember the life of someone and feel like they're participating in the memory. So We Remember, you can get there by opening your browser and typing in weremember.com. And if you .com/NGL. The reason that /NGL is because there's a few extra benefits there by using the NGL specific platform. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to come in here and it's going to say, who do you want to remember? And we start a free memory page. That's perhaps one of the best parts about this resource. I know sometimes in the funeral industry, there are so many different resources out there. Many of them cost money. This is free. This is free to funeral homes to start for their families, and it's free for families. Families can start this for themselves as well. So start a free page. Let's just go ahead and start one. Let's say we're going to start one for Sarah Smith here. Now we have this option, deceased or living. You can create them for the living, but oftentimes I think they're created for the deceased. There is a search feature that's built in, and I'll talk about that later. The great thing about the search feature is if the person is living, the search feature will not find them. It's a little added security feature to restrict these pages just to family members, especially for those living individuals. For the deceased, they don't populate right away in the search, but they will populate eventually. So we'll create a free memory page. We've got Sarah Smith here. Who is the page about? It's about Sarah. She is deceased. So then we click next. First thing we do, basic, simple information, birth year. Pick a couple for the sake of our test here. I'm going to pick just some random dates. And then we have the date of death. So let's say she died. Let's say she died yesterday here. I'm going to select the 14th. And then the last city that she lived. I live not too far from Madison, so I'm going to go ahead and enter that one just for fun here. Now, this is a great piece because this will connect these pages to your funeral home in a way that it gives you guys a little bit of credit and acknowledges you and the services that you're providing and the way that you're linking them to this. So just add a few details here. I'm going to enter Premier Marketing is our organization name. And I'm going to type in our website here. Now, the other great thing here is if you add a logo, maybe I'm going too fast here. Sometimes I get super excited, but organization name, Premier Marketing, organization website, and then down here we click add logo. You're simply you can drag and drop if it's on your desktop. Otherwise, if you click select files, it'll open up your browser and you just go to the folder where your files are, or where your specific logo for your funeral home is located, and you'll select the applicable logo. It's going to do a little quick thing here to make sure it fits, and it's automatically going to fit it in there for you. And then let's say that you're working for the funeral home, or perhaps you're an agent, and you want to be notified when this page is all ready to go and when it's all activated. So what we can do here is we can go ahead and we can type in our email address. And what that'll do is once this page is activated, you'll get an email that says the page you created for, in this case, Sarah Smith, has been activated. Now, if you're one of those funeral home admins or an agent, and you're going to be creating a lot of these for the families of the deceased that you work with, what you can do over here is you can request a quick create. And same kind of information. You'll type in your name, whoever the admin is, their email, the organization name, and the website. And what it'll do is We Remember will create this link for you to more quickly populate this. That way, once you are logged in as yourself on We Remember, it'll automatically pull that information in for you, so you won't have to do this again in the future. By clicking next, I acknowledge that I have read and accepted the page sponsor agreements. If we click on this, we open it up. Here you are, you can read it. Basically, you're acknowledging that you don't own the page. Pretty standard agreement. The thing I like about this is it's not one that you have to scroll through like so many of those other technology sites. Just a simple kind of 3 paragraphs here about what you're agreeing to. So not anything too convoluted. So then once we do that, we click next. And now this is where I really want you to think about how, as a funeral home or agent or pre-need counselor, you might set this up and you might administer this. You can add up to 4 different emails to notify the family. And the first thing that this is going to do is when you type in these emails, it's going to send an email to each of the people here that have been added. So let's just go ahead and I'll put in one of my email addresses. And I'm going to go ahead and just enter a second one here. And what it's going to do is it's going to kick off an email to these individuals to basically say that a page has been created for, in this case, Sarah Smith. Now, this page will not become live until that individual logs into their email and clicks activate the page. It's a security protection to make sure that folks aren't creating pages unnecessarily unless they're approved. The reason I want you to think about your admin is if you are the admin that's creating this, if you're dealing with a grieving family at a funeral home, the family is so focused on grieving, maybe they've got a zillion other things to do. So as the funeral home admin, you might enter your information, your email address, so that as the admin, once this page is created, as the admin of that funeral home, I can go in and I can activate it for the family on their behalf. Now, obviously, you're going to want to tell the family that you set this up and that you created this for them, but it allows them to have to skip that one little step, and you're assisting them a little bit better there. I want to point out just a couple things here because this question often arises. I don't know about you, but I get lots and lots of email, and a lot of them end up in my junk mail because there's so many emails and so much spam just being sent out there. The great thing about this is Ancestry specifically states recipients are not added to any list and will only receive 1 email. So this is only for the purposes of activating the account. They're not going to send you, I know Ancestry.com is very popular with doing genealogical testing. They're not even going to send you advertising emails about that. This is specifically for We Remember. It's specifically for the families that you set up. You're not running the risk of spamming your families. They're very great about this with not sending extra erroneous emails. So we'll go ahead and click continue. You might want to stop on this page here for a second. So it's going to basically that email has now been kicked off. But what we have here is this is the only way, as I mentioned, you can't just search for these individuals. So this is the only way that your family can find this memory page. And the page won't be published until the family activates it, right? So here's the link right here. Here's the link to Sarah Smith's page that we just created. We can copy the link, and if we're on our phone, you can easily copy that link, and then you can text it to your family and friends. You can copy that link and you can put it into an email. The great thing is you can word the text and the email however you want, but nobody's going to be able to get to that page that you've created for that family member unless they have this link. You can also create this PDF. Just click View PDF, and what it'll do is it'll generate a PDF that comes from your funeral home. It'll have their logo, and it'll also have that We Remember link on there for them. I'm going to go ahead and click the copy link here. But remember, the first thing that we have to do is we have to activate the page. So I've got my email open, and just so you can see it, here's the email I received. Activate the We Remember page for Sarah Smith. We Remember by Ancestry.com. Just creates this little box right now. And down here it says Premier Marketing has started a free We Remember page for Sarah Smith. Now, if this were your funeral home, think about the value add that adds for your funeral home. The funeral home at the corner has started a free We Remember page for Sarah Smith. This is really a value add for your funeral home or for your business. It's a place for you to gather family and friends to collect, share, and discuss memories and photos of Sarah. In our COVID environment, when we can't get together, think of this essentially as a virtual memorial service or a virtual platform where people can engage together here. This other thing is important. You are set to become the owner with control and content of privacy. So if somebody posts something that you don't like, or you as the owner have the power to remove that. Is there someone else who would be better to activate and start the We Remember page for Sarah Smith? Just forward them this email. So remember earlier on, we had the option of adding up to 4 different email addresses. Any one of those email addresses will that you initially send the invitation to, they'll be granted moderator status. So they'll be able to go in and help kind of guide and regulate and moderate the content that's posted on there. So we're going to go ahead and click Activate Page. So now we have activated it. And the first thing that we're going to do here as the owner is we're going to sign her page. So let's say we are family. I'm going to say that I am Sarah's son. And here we go. We can activate the page. Click. You notice you have to go ahead and click that permission and then click Activate Page. Seem to be getting an error here, so I'm gonna have to reach out to my friends at Ancestry to figure that out. But that's just okay. We can still see most of the page and see what we can do here. Just 1 second. So I'm going to pull up a sample here that has been created. In this case, this is a page that was created as a sample for Louise Salmon. You have the option as the moderators and as the owners of the page. You can go in and you can add photos of the individual. And it's pretty simple and easy to use. You can add a little tagline here. And then you can add a little description. Put a little description or a little story about her life. Now, a family member can write this, or if you're the funeral home admin, you might consider putting the obituary here. As you're thinking about who the best moderators are for the page, if you're encountering a situation where somebody is grieving, the immediate family members might not be the best to have as moderators. Yeah, you probably want to have one or two of them, but think about whether there's a grandchild or a nephew or a niece who is really tech savvy and who is not, they're still connected closely, but they're not the immediate next of kin. So they've perhaps got a little bit more extra time to start building this out. And I say build, but I use that loosely because there's really not a lot to build to it. It's really people contributing, but it allows that individual more time to kind of go in here and take ownership of this, and it gives them the pride too. So now notice anytime you've copied that link and you've shared it, you can share it on Facebook here. It'll automatically create a Facebook page for you to share. But you can send an email, text, share it on Facebook. Anytime you give that link to somebody, then they can basically go in here and they can sign the guest book. And so you see in this case, the friends and family, these are the different individuals that have signed the guest book. If you wanted to see who some of these are, each individual that signs the guest book, they can include their photo or they cannot include their photo. If they just use their initials, it'll just, if they just enter their name, it'll just show up as their initials here. But if you click on this, this individual, David Graham, he's a grandson here, and he is one of the moderators for Louise's page here. Now here we have memories. Each individual that has access to the page is able to go in and to create a memory. So tell a favorite story and memory, and it tries to get you started here. I remember those simple words. I remember, just words to help get the story going. So, I remember sharing cookies that were sugar cookies, and we baked them every Christmas. You have the option to add a photo. Maybe you have a photo of those Christmas cookies and you want to add that photo. And then we'll go ahead and we'll just click save. What that should do then is that should put that memory on the page there for Louisa. You can also create these questions, and as the moderator or owner, you can create whatever questions you want, whatever topics you want to get people talking about. Maybe it's, let's say let's say Louisa had a great, she was a great baker, a great cook. You could put what were the favorite recipes of Louisa's that you loved baking with her. Whatever question that is most relevant to the family, you can create. What was your favorite memory with Louisa? What favorite vacation destinations? The sky's the limit really on whatever questions you wanted to create. And then down here, I worked on creating one of those earlier. It's just simply adding a memory. Here's where you see these different memories populate. I'm thinking that maybe it erred out on me for trying to create a memory because I think this might be set up as a sample page, so it might prevent me from doing that. But here, as you add memories, you can add, I mentioned, you can add photos, and you can add just a little caption or a little story. And it shows this memory is from David Graham. This memory over here is from Ann Salmon, and it's a daughter. Louise's mom as an even more beautiful young woman, right? So the sky is really the limit here in terms of whatever memories the family wants to share. And it's laid out in a very simple, very basic format. The other thing I'll point out, sometimes I get the question of, well, why wouldn't I just share these memories on Facebook? Well, you can, but the great thing about this is, again, remember, this will connect to your funeral home. It'll send that email that your funeral home has created this page for them. It'll also, it ties to that to your funeral home and gives you that value add. Notice also what you don't see on here that you would see on Facebook. On Facebook, you get all of these other distractions, all these other chat boxes, you get all these other advertisements, all of these other events. Notice you don't have that here. On this We Remember page, as you're focusing on celebrating the life of an individual, it's only about this individual. So it really, truly makes it a memorial page, a way to share these memories. You don't end up getting distracted by all of that other technological noise, if you will. Now remember, as the funeral home, you have the option of adding a photo or a logo of your funeral home and also the name of your funeral home. Down here we have provided by, in this case, Serenity. And here is where your funeral home's logo will populate. And a little description here. As a service, Serenity started this We Remember page for our friends and family to celebrate the life of Louise Salmon. And this would link to your funeral home's website. Notice here, this is also something that I think is great. It also gives a little shout out to pre-planning, to pre-need. So if you are a pre-need agent, remember you can start these for the living. So if you are a pre-need agent and you start these for a few living members or a few living individuals that you're writing a pre-need contract with, this might be another great way to gain some referrals. Another way to get the thought and the idea and the education about the importance of pre-planning out there in the world. So that's essentially it. Up here is where you have the search feature. Remember, you won't find pages for living individuals. I have a page for myself, but no matter how much you search, it's not going to find anything. Your family has to have that specific link for that individual. So if we let's just type in Smith here, we're bound to find a bunch of Smiths. You can view all the search results. Notice all of these Smiths are individuals who have died. So the search is only going to populate people who have died. If you have any questions, I'll invite you to type those into the chat box. I do see a question here. Is this being recorded? Yes, this webinar has been recorded and you should be receiving a link to this recording here, I believe within 24 hours. So probably by sometime tomorrow, you'll receive a link to this recording. Any other questions I can answer for you? I'm not seeing any other questions. If you have any, I will stay on a little bit longer, but if not, I thank you for joining me today. Again, my name is Luke Smetters and I'm from Premier Marketing. We're a pre-need company specialized in advanced planning services. So if you have any other questions, I'd love to answer them for you. Have a great, wonderful rest of your day.